Good guys, my name is Lil Tomo. Welcome again to another Sonic the Hedgehog toy item collector review. As you know, I'm Lil Tomo with the good old plush toy Sonic the Hedgehog. He missed me, did you? It's been a while. Let's get into the actual review here because that's what we're here for, not for my shenanigans. This is Amy Rose, I'm just going to call her Amy Super Deformed Plush, and it is by a company known as a tomy or Tommy, depending on where you're from, but I'm going to say Tomy. It is from a series line which is referred to as the Super Deformed series, or the Sonic Boom Super Deformed series, because the staple of this series is you have a small miniaturized body and of course the head, which is, wait for it, super deformed. But it's definitely a series I actually like, amongst other series of the plush line, amongst other plush line series which I do actually like. This one's probably one of my most favorites simply because of its uniqueness and whatnot. Besides the gimmick being that its head is massive and the body is small, it does look extremely well from a display purpose, which I think is one of the key features of collecting plushies, really. I mean, you can mess around with it, but it is what it is. So let's get into the actual pros, cons, and of course my little nitpicks on this series. Of course, there are bits and bobs that I'm not particularly fond of, but there are things that I do, of course, enjoy the most. So let's get into it, and yeah. So already straight from the bat, the actual head sculpting is astronomically, if that's even a word, larger than the actual body itself. So if you can imagine this plush walking around, it would literally be tipping all over the place because it cannot hold its head. And I find that adorable for whatever reason. If they did an animation series or a short version of that, we'd have a big head, small bodies, and just tipping all over the place. That would be awesome, especially if you had Sonic, where you just be him dragging his head. But anyway, that's me being statistically in that nature. So the head sculpt itself is extremely well stuffed in terms of what's inside. I don't know what's inside it, and I don't plan on ripping my plushes apart to find out, but I would imagine it's cotton or something because it's really hard and it's really thick, the stuffing itself, which is awesome. The actual eyes itself is greatly well done. I'll just see if I can go focused. Now, unlike other plush manufacturers where they tend to have an iron press sticker onto the actual plush itself, this one in particular focused it more on the stitching aspects, as you can clearly tell by the stitching of the green eyes and it's green eyes, black inner pupil, and the white little outer pupil, which gives it more of a cartoonish, realish life sort of thing to it. Kind of gives a more glimmery effect of sorts. Hard to really describe, but it adds character to it. So the fact that they actually stitched on the eyes is a major bonus. Not to say the iron pressed, I guess, craftsmanship isn't bad. I just always prefer the stitching. It does have a con in that if you constantly wash it, for example, it will wear and tear. Of course, you'll get that more so with the iron press stickers on, but this one's more durable than that one, so it's kind of a nip tack in that sort of regard. Of course, you have a outer eyelids or eye lines, which of course has little eyelashes on either side, and to my surprise, of course, those are extremely well stitched. Bonus points again. So far this is winning me over more than you can ever imagine. So the actual eye itself, and of course you just have a material which is the actual outer eye socket of her face, which is phenomenally well done and stitched. The only, I guess, I wouldn't say drawback, but the only thing that throws me off a bit is it's not 100% semi-oval. It kind of looks like it's jaggedy from the top parts on both sides. I don't know if it's just a stitching thing. It adds character, it adds a sense of realism to an extent. Obviously it's a plush, it's not real, but it adds a level of realism, which is always a plus. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of your inner OCD, I want everything symmetrical, tends to kick in. I was like, oh, I would prefer it to be fully symmetrical from an oval point of view, but you know, it is what it is. It adds character and I like it. And of course the eyelashes, if you look at it, look the same, but depending on the angle, kind of gives it a different illusion, which I think is superb. Of course, you have a little nose, which is literally just a material flapped over itself, stitched over. It does suffer from most plushes, where in that it's just a little knob of sorts, and it just flings over to one side. It's the nature of the plush itself. I would love it to be the central, but you know, it's one of those things that you can't really get 100% correct 100% of the time with plushes, simply because of the nature of its craftsmanship, but it is what it is. Of course, you do have her mouth, and though the mouth does give you a level of glee or happiness coming from the actual Amy plush itself, it looks weird. It actually looks like somebody punched her in the mouth and she's bleeding and she's like, okay, I can take it. I don't ask me why I have those statistics views on this particular plush, but it does look like she's got punched in her face, in her mouth actually, and she's bleeding, but she's smiling about it because she's a fighter. She's a, wait for it, freedom fighter. The non-comic readers would probably hate me for that. But yes, it is what it is. A personal preference is I would have preferred it to be on the side, kind of like a smirking effect, like something on Sonic or Shadow would have, but the fact that it's in the center actually grows on me, so it's not completely bad. It's a preference, to say the least. Of course, most with the modern plushies, not the older ones, but with the modern plushies, for example, when it comes to fringes and whatnot, they tend to opt for the actual material based, opposed to actually having like a fluffiness material to us. I did a carton Tails review, which you can definitely check in the past on a plush playlist, which actually Tails fringe is literally just a fluff ball on his forehead, which seems more believable than this. It's not to say this is bad, it's just different artistic styles, and it works. It really does. This system actually does work. It's a bit odd. It gives you more of a rooster effect, if anything, so it kind of looks like Amy's becoming half rooster, which could explain why we never see her parents, because maybe her mom or dad is a rooster. Conspiracy theory activated. It's not bad. It does its job. I think it's adorable. It's a harder form of material. I'm not too sure what it's called, but you can definitely see the stitching on the inner sides, and it's not bad. This one tends to work more symmetrically than the actual nodes itself, which is pretty awesome. It's all about just angling, and I think it's pretty good. Like I said, it does its job. It just makes it look more like a rooster on my side. So Amy Rose, if we can find your parents, I'm sure we're going to find out the big revelation that your mum or dad is a rooster. And there we have it, guys. She is part rooster. So that's that. And of course you do have a big stuffy little ears, extremely well stuffed, except this little pivot corner, as you can probably see how it crumbles in a bit. I think that has more to do with the actual hashtag itself, which tends to drop it down a bit, but it is well stuffed on either side. So this one is partially unstuffed on the tip, but because it's not connected to like a hashtag or something, it doesn't kind of give you that crippling effect of sorts. But then again, it kind of adds character to the actual overall plush itself. You do have her jawline and her nozzle aspect to it, which I think is superb. And we do have, I'm going to flip it on this side. So whatever's on this side is on the opposite side. So you have her, of course, her hair or her quills, depending on how you want to see it, which gives it the fact that I was expecting this to go down. I was not expecting this to be angled, but the fact that it's angled, bonus points. And you can clearly see from the rest of her hair or quills, they kind of have a bent effect going on, and I think that's awesome. And there's the back of her head, absolutely adorable. You can just give her a big pat, Amy the rooster. That's gonna be a thing. Amy is a rooster. And before anybody corrects me, I know she's a hedgehog, it's just a gag, so yeah. Anyway, so on the top you have a hairband, which is literally just a material that is like strapped onto the top of her head. It doesn't actually go all around like other plushies may be. It's not bad, it just doesn't do it, just pointing out the obvious. But the fact that it's up there gives it more of an adorable cutesy character. Like, she, head sculpt wise for now, is absolutely adorable. You cannot go wrong with this plush whatsoever. And I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of the Sonic Boom series, but I do like certain changes that they've actually done to it. For example, the actual costuming and all that sort of stuff. I'm gonna get a lot of flack from that, but seeing the same character over and over and over again, it kind of becomes monotonous. So it's good to spice it up a bit, just a bit. Okay, guys, just don't jump me on it. Don't hurt my feelings with my opinions, or Amy the Rooster will kick your ass. Of course, let's get down to her body, which is less of deformed than her actual body, as you can clearly tell. And the fact is, the material itself used for the actual dress or the whole piece is literally just one material, but it's done in a way where they've kind of it's not stitched on, it's kind of like its own material with a marking on it, which is literally her gives her more character detail, which is like a little band, her little stripes, and you have two little buttons on either side. On the actual back side, it just pretty much fleshes out, and you can see from the actual stitching and how it steams over. So it's just one material flipped around and stitched on. I think it's great. It does what it needs to do, and it doesn't need to add any more. And for those people who are asking, yes, she does have a little tail. Not needed because her dress covers it, but the fact that they added the tail is so cute. I love that. Of course, you do have little tags there, which is, I always find that a bit crazy, the amount of hashtags that they have there. But of course, you have Sonic Booms. But with her dress, and I'm going to show you, you can actually hide it, so it becomes seamless. There you go. You can't see her tail, and you can't see as much those things, which is, and there's a but for anybody who's interested in Amy in that way. They haven't sculpted any detail, but there's a but, because a but cannot lie. Of course, her hands are extremely well done. You can see the markings. It's literally just one material, so you can kind of see how it's kind of like gives it the whole bandage effect, and the little yellow marks. It's exactly the same on the other hand. So whatever's on one arm, it's on exactly the same thing. It does use the standard stitching sense, given that they mark lines to indicate fingers, but it's hard to really see. But the fingers, like if I was to unstitch it, it would actually open up the palm to be bigger. So they literally made the material longer, flipped it around and stitched it. Some plush series, what they tend to do is just make it into a bulb and stitch lines to give it fingers, but this one you can see visibly how the fingers would have been, and of course she has a little thumb there, which I think is superb. So the fact that they did that is pretty awesome. If you go further down, you do have her shoes, and you can see how well sculptured and designed. It is literally material, nothing of it is stitched. You can see how well detailed her actual feet are in the shoes. Now, of course, everything about this plush itself is great. There's not many things I can criticize about it negatively, but there is a few things that I'm going to have to address, of course. First off, it doesn't have any hanger, so you can't hang it. Now, you might be thinking, why would you want to hang it? Because it would look good like that. So most of the time you're going to have this plushie sitting down, and look at that. It covers the dress, which is alright. I would have preferred some ridges on her the sole of her shoes to actually give it, you know, some actual design, so it doesn't look so bland. So if they had ridges, for example, some of the GE Entertainment plushes, that would have added more character and would have been less awkward of her sitting down. The fact is, you can't actually stand her up properly. You could if you were finicky about it, but the thing is, most people will have it sitting down, and that takes away from the plush itself personally. So the way I'm going to have it is I'm probably going to have a stand at the bottom, just hold her up there and make her stand up so you can't see the ridges there. If they had ridges, that would have been awesome. The second thing is, this is so big. I know why they did it. It's just to grab people's attentions to buy this plush series, but I would have preferred this to be smaller. But the fact is, it is pretty big, and it's annoying because it has it on the ears. It's very, from a collector's point of view, I don't want to rip this off. But of course, if you're not a collector, rip it off and away you go, you'll be the happiest thing. From a collector's point of view, it's like you want to keep it as mint as possible. The fact is, this kind of takes it away. So you're going to have to put it on the side to give a more of a seamless look to it. The second thing is, you have a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog and it says Amy. I would have preferred a picture of maybe Amy, or if they're going to have Sonic, have Amy and Sonic, and then just have Sonic Boom and Amy. That would have actually said, hey, look, it is Amy. Now, I know why they did it. It's just so people can relate this to the actual Sonic universe. Not everybody knows every single character in the Sonic universe. I understand that. Just a preference. This is preferential. This is what I would love to have changed personally. But this is more preferential. This is a nitpick. This doesn't take anything away from it. If you open it inside, it's basically just obligatory information that's clearly nobody's ever going to read, to be honest. I would have preferred this to be on the actual tag on the side and it's smaller, but it is what it is. Now, how much did I get it for? I think I got it for about $15. A little expensive, but if you have the complete series of the Super Deformed Head series, it would look so adorable and so awesome on your stand display case or whatever the case may be. I love this series. I made it quite clear in my previous reviews of this series how much I love this series. There's other plush series that I do like a Sonic one, but this one stands out most to me because it's so adorable, and of course it's unique. And the fact that it's unique is something that's a big selling point. Being a fan for such a long time, you want something new, of course, throughout the years, and this really brings this new element onto the table, which I think is awesome. Besides these little hiccups, yeah, but is it worth it? I think it is. To be honest, if you just want to collect some basic stuff on the Sonic series, I'll probably pick the Super Deformed. It's somewhat affordable in the collector side of things, so it really comes down to you. $15, 1 star out of 10 in terms of rarity. It's super available. You can purchase it pretty much anywhere, Amazon, eBay, stores. I did find this at a local kind of like pop culture store here in Australia, so it is out there to say the least, but definitely worth it, in my honest opinion. But anyways, let me know what your thoughts on this plush. Is it a series that you're particularly interested in? Is it a series that you don't care about? What's your thoughts on it? I actually enjoy this series. I really do. I think it's absolutely adorable. besides the small hiccups, aka the soles of the feet, it's a phenomenal series. I would love for them to make more of the series, if not expand on the universe, but time will tell, right? That's how things are. Anyway guys, thank you so much for checking out this review. I will be posting more regularly and whatnot. I'll make a vlog down the track explaining what's going on with my life and the channel, etc. But anyway guys, thanks for watching Speed On, and take care.